What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Aaron and Sven of Rising Insane. Thank you both for being here. It's so great to have you here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
anytime.
having us.
Of course, we have the new album Afterglow coming out, which is the album to top 2021 off, coming out December 10th. How was the overall making of this album? Was there kind of like a preconceived idea? How did Afterglow sort of see the light of day?
You want to answer, Sven, or should I? Should I just go?
just go ahead.
So first of all, we don't give interviews in English that often. So I hope that my language skills don't suck right now. But well, to answer your question, so we have been working on Afterglow for almost 2 years. Like we were starting to just write some ideas and some the first songs. To see where the direction of the album will be, where the direction will go, I guess. And then, like in the year 2021, I guess, or 2020, 2021, like the shift of the
2020
years.
actually.
Yeah, we were starting to get all the songs together. We know where we wanted to be heading to, and so basically we wrote the whole album in like half a year or something. So. Yeah.
Being it was is what we're hearing on this album like how these songs were originally written, or did these songs maybe change a lot over a span of time? Was there a lot of ideas that were changing?
Oh well, it depends from from song to song. There were ones where Sven just sent me the idea, and I was like, well, that's absolutely perfect. It's an amazing song. I will start on the vocals just right now. And there were some songs, for example, Oxygen, that really spend a long time in the pipeline, like we turned the song around like 10 times at last, and that was very
Rearranged
hard.
it.
Yes, rearranged it. Even we took melodies from different songs and put it into that song to get a feeling where we want to go with this one. So we have these songs where it just goes straight, and we have the finished song like within a half a day or something. And there were songs where we like been working on for more than 2 or 3 weeks.
Hmm. And was there like at all a preconceived idea, like in terms of what you wanted Afterglow to sound like, or was there like a lot of improvising and a lot of experimentation involved, as opposed to albums such as Porcelain or Nation?
Oh no, I think I'm mostly responsible for all the kind of sound thing in Rising Insane, and when I'm trying to mix our stuff or to write our stuff, I have a quite exact imagination of what I want to sound like, and we are really focused on this. So we definitely know what we want to sound like, and that's actually what we did on this record. But in comparison to our last records, it got way more heavier and way more. We were a little bit more in an adventure because we did things that we have never done before.
Hmm. So is it fair to say that even though you have 5 singles out for Afterglow, is that maybe a good representation of what the whole album will sound like, or is there a lot more to be discovered and a lot more to be heard?
But there are a lot of differences within the 5 singles we released yet, and so is the album. You will have songs you will say, oh man, yeah, that's metalcore, and you will have songs where you listen to it and you think, well, that sounds different, that sounds new to me. Like there are some surprises on the album.
Yeah, and what I find unique is listening to this album is that it almost seems like it can't be categorized in anything. Like I see elements of metalcore, but I see some elements of like prog in it. I feel like your sound can really cater to multiple audiences.
Oh, that sounds nice. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for it.
Wow.
That was the plan.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, because it is kind of like a cliche question, but do you guys have like influences that you cite that play a huge role in Rising Insane's music?
Oh,
absolutely.
Go for it.
Okay, but I think one influence that we cannot put away from us is if you hear exactly in our songs, you will definitely recognize Architects. I think that's one of our biggest influences because Aaron and I are really hearing them a lot. And every time when there comes a new record or a new song or single or stream or whatever, we are completely fanboys. And I think that is something that we cannot really put away from us. But all in all, I think that it's not so that we have not so many influences at all. I think it's mainly architects for me at least.
Yeah, we were kind of surrounded by so many possible influences. Like 2020 was a year of so many good albums that have been released, and while this was the time when we started writing the album, there, like I said, there were so many good albums, and we kind of got lost in so many good and nice influences, and so we had to go find our own roots, and yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of Architects influences on here. What did you guys think of the new Architects album that came out this year?
Oh, I always have difficulties with new records of Architects. Like, holy hell, it was for me, it was for me so difficult because I was totally into All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, where it's just harsh and brutal, and then they come up with these high pitch screaming vocals, like screaming but with tone. And I got used to it, but only after I listened to the album like 3 times. But when I got used to it, it was the best record ever made. And now they release a more subtle version of themselves, like they were calming down a little bit, but still heavy as fuck, you know. And they lowered the pitch of Sankara so much, and I was like, wow, what is this right now? But like after listening to Animals for at least 20 to 50 times, I was like, oh yeah, that's it. That's totally it. Especially after the Abbey Road version of it.
Yeah, I've always said that Architects was kind of like the black sheep in the British metalcore movement in a way. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and I've noticed that Germany in itself has been starting to like catch on with a lot of great metalcore bands as well. Like I've noticed that like if you go to a certain area of Germany, it's associated with a different genre. Like Bavaria has all like the black metal bands or like the tech death bands. Berlin,
really?
Yeah, Berlin has all the butt rock. That I'm just gonna say that right now. And
yeah, it is.
Yeah, and no disrespect to either Berlin or to butt rock because I think both are great. But and then I feel like some like southwestern like venues from Stuttgart have been like really pushing that metalcore sound in a way as well.
Oh, there's an area in Germany, we call it the Ruhrpott. I don't know if you heard it before. It's like where Borussia Dortmund comes from. You know the football team?
I've heard, yeah.
Soccer? It's soccer, Borussia Dortmund. They're from there. It's the Ruhrpott, and there are quite a lot metalcore bands or post-hardcore bands coming from the Ruhrpott, and they are doing very good actually.
Yeah, you should all play like one of those soccer games one day. That would be great.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, just an idea. Just an idea. But how is the sort of like scene in Germany where you guys are all currently from? Like, I mean, you just mentioned that one area where there is a lot of metalcore bands, but like, has the goal right now been to kind of like get outside of Germany in order to spread the name out for Rising Insane?
We just realized when we played a show called Krautsalat Festival that we set a goal in 2018. That's in 2018 that we want to be seen as one of the German metalcore bands here. Like when there's a festival with highly nominated metalcore bands from Germany, that we want to be on the sheet. We want to be there. We want to be playing there. And so this was our goal. And we just realized with this concert that we actually just achieved this goal. We didn't really spend a lot of thinking about what we are aiming next for, but as we are planning to go on tour with These Nuts next February, which will be a European tour, well, it kind of will happen to go across the borders of Germany and head for Europe.
Yeah. Now, has there ever been a time where maybe like lyrics or a lyrical concept could influence the sound of a song as well, or does there always need to be music before lyrics come into play?
Actually not. I just, sometimes Sven gives me an instrumental for a song and I'm writing lyrics for this one, but more often I just write down from what's inside my heart, form that into kind of poem or kind of lyrics, and put this on a song.
Okay. And Sven, do you find it maybe easier since you do a lot of the songwriting as well? Do you prefer to be in
Yeah.
the company of your other bandmates when you're writing, or do you need to be like alone and like isolation when getting in that creative mode?
I definitely like it to be alone and isolated because I can focus on the riffs and ideas and melodies that I have in my head. And after this kind of process, I'm starting to record it on my computer, actually send it to the other guys and ask for their opinions, if they like it, or what I can improve it, or what's not so good. And I definitely need their opinions, but all in all, in the beginning, it's the best way for me to be alone, or even with Aaron, because we kind of have a good relation regarding the songwriting stuff, because we know pretty well what Aaron is liking or me is liking, and that's kind of a good thing that we made better in the last years, actually.
So basically, he sends me his instrumental tracks, his first approaches for a new song, sends me it. I say, okay, I come over, then I visit Sven, and we are spending like 4 or 5 hours on one verse, and then it goes on to the others.
Yeah. Well, that led me
Exactly.
is how do you know when you guys are finished with a song?
It's usually this one when we look at each other like this and make this, and then we are like this.
This big smiling.
Yes.
A big smile.
You just feel it.
Yes.
All right, that was a quite unique answer I got for for this question. But is now in terms of like the lyricism of Rising Insane, especially with Afterglow, though, is there like a kind of like a message that you do want to try to convey to your listeners, or would you say that Rising Insane's music is fairly open to interpretation?
Well, it might be open for interpretation, of course. Like lyrics are always open for some for different thoughts, and you know. But for me, it's actually quite one way, because I lost my sister due to cancer in 2018, and since then I suffered from a lot mental stuff. And when we released Porcelain, I thought I kind of got over it, but well, of course, I did not. And so I realized in 2019 and 2019 basically, that I starting to fall into a depression, into anxiety, and everything you can think about when you suffer from loss like this. So I started to put these feelings into the lyrics, and also I went to a therapist to talk about all of this, what happened, and also I went, before I went to the therapist, I went to the doctor, who said, okay, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. So I started to put all my experience I made for myself, like with myself. I started to put it all into the lyrics, and even revealed myself when I was writing. So it was kind of the whole writing of the album was a process for me mentally. And I think you might even hear that, or if you read the lyrics, you might even see what is happening, and it can be an influence, and also a helping hand to people who suffer the same, or suffer depression, anxiety, anhedonia, and all these stuff. So that's basically it.
I've noticed that there is sort of like a, a melancholy aura behind Porcelain, and that had a lot of contrast from Nation to
Yes.
Porcelain. So like I had no idea of your loss, and my condolences. And I also admire
Thanks.
your strength to express that on an album. Do you almost feel like that Afterglow is almost kind of like maybe a new beginning, almost starting with a clean slate for the band in a way, like in a different state of mind?
Well, for the band, I don't know actually. I mean, over the years, I've become more open to the band. Like at the beginning, it was very hard for me to open up to all the other guys in the band and talk about my feelings this open. But from time to time, when you talk also openly with your followers and with your fans, it becomes kind of natural, and I gained a lot of strength from this whole process. And I think for for Rising Insane, we kind of got this mental health band for some people, and we also receive some really deep messages from fans who are thanking us for making this kind of music, for opening up with these lyrics and stuff, because it also helps other people. So we will see where this leads us.
So before we go, I want to thank you both so much for your time today and for such a great conversation, and also for a great album to end this year with. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote for Rising Insane, in terms of, you mentioned that you have a tour coming for February, knocking on wood that it happens. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote?
Your turn, Sven.
Yes, for sure, a new record. We would really appreciate if anybody who is hearing us at this kind of radio show, if they will turn on their Spotify, have a listen to our record, and let us know what they think about it. Just drop us a message on Instagram or Facebook and let us know what you think. We would really appreciate that.
That would actually be awesome, like getting in contact with people from America, like knowing that our music spread out to the world, and yeah, that would be
It's
awesome.
kind of the big dream for a German metalcore band.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of the record, and you're getting a call from New York, so big shout out to your
Nice.
yeah. So thank you to Freeman Promotions and to Long Branch Records for connecting us as well. But everybody, we are here with Rising Insane. Check out Afterglow, coming out this December. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.